All right, we are back on the show floor here, live at Forrester B2B Summit 2026. The marketplace is hopping. We're starting to record this right as people, I think, are coming into break time. They're wheeling out coffee and drinks and some kind of, maybe some lemonade back there. I don't know. Like
Dirty soda.
There is dirty soda at one of the. I find that people, when they evaluate conferences, two things are important: time with each other and the food.
I thought you were going to say time with coffee, but yeah.
Coffee
okay.
too. Actually, the third one is coffee available at all times. Don't just wheel it out during the breaks. All time available coffee and water is super important. Now, you're right. You've done this before, Dave. All right. So excited for this session of Sales Pipeline Radio. We've got Dave Franklin. He's the VP Research Director at Forrester Research. You've been around for a while. You've seen a lot. We're going to cover a little bit of that here in a minute. Dave grew up in Dublin, Ireland. You'll hear a little bit of that in his voice. So you don't see a lot of people that grew up in Dublin, have 3 degrees, and currently live in Florida. So that's a bit.
I live in New York.
That's not Florida. It says Florida here.
No, we were in Florida, but we're back in New York.
All right. Well, so now you're in New York. Okay, that's a little
more common.
That's a little more common. Okay, that's fine. All right. So there's so many places I want to go on this. I want to start with your keynote from yesterday. Go-to-market singularity, and really sort of championing this theme of a convergence of unpredictability and transformation, where traditional new rules no longer apply. And I don't know if every word in that sentence was intentional, but every word is meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
For those that weren't in the keynote yesterday, unpack that for us a little bit.
Okay, sure. Well, and you know Forrester well enough at this point that every word is intentional.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So let's circle back to this time last year real quick. And we came off Summit last year, and we started to think about next year's Summit and what's our focus. We make a really concerted effort to this is not a marketing conference. It's not a sales conference. It's not a customer success conference. It's not a product conference. Right. It's a go-to-market conference. Right. And we don't want to do 4 different conferences and tell each of those groups, you're the center of the universe, and all these other people, this, that, and the other. Right. We want one message for everyone. So we started to think in those terms of what's going on today. And we came up with this. Again, we do a lot of research, we talk to a lot of people, all that sort of thing. Yep. And it felt like this was a huge moment. So one of the things I said on stage yesterday, right, was this is a profound, urgent, and inevitable change. And we heard that from everyone we interviewed. We're not, it's not us in our ivory tower kind of thing. Right. But when we took it to George, our CEO, and others, and said, we think we came up with this singularity idea, which I'll circle back to in a sec. Yeah. And George sort of said, well, we can't drop a piano on our clients' heads every year and say the sky is falling down. Yeah. Is this the year we're dropping the piano? Yeah. And so we sort of took a step back and we had an honest conversation about it. And we sort of said, no, it really does feel like this is the year. So that's where the singularity, we used the analogy yesterday of a star. So the star at the end of its life, singularity is basically the star, gas is all used up. And the definition we turn to for singularity, because there's a lot, and we're not using the AI one. Right. Maths, physics, singularity is a point in time where new and mounting pressures cause existing models and rules to collapse and new ones to emerge. Yeah. And that was the thing where when we read that, it's like, this is it. This is where we are today. Yeah. And obviously I walked through all those mounting pressures, and then everything we built program-wise is we don't want to drop the piano and walk away. Right. It's like, no, let's acknowledge that this is the moment, but let's embrace it. Let's look forward. Let's think about how we can grow in this world rather than run away from it.
That is a really important mindset for everyone in go-to-market to have right now. And I really appreciate that you guys are not making this just marketing, just sales, just CS. That the teams are in this together, right? This is a team sport. If we were to start organizations from scratch, the silos might be different if they existed at all, right? And so now we talk about dropping the piano. Let's not reinvent the whole organization, but if we have jobs to be done, and we have got people in the organization with jobs to be done, reinventing what that looks like. And I was joking earlier, like there's jazz hands at sales kickoff, and then there's like, what does Tuesday look like? Yep. And you need to get that operational, but there's just pure alignment along the way as well. Because if you're operating in silos, your customers see you in silos, and that is friction. It's not doing anybody any good.
And we introduced yesterday this notion of ARC principles, right? And one of those is collaborative. It's augmented, resilient, and collaborative. And so if I jump to the third one, because it's relevant to the alignment, we defined collaborative as the intentional alignment of marketing, sales, product, customer success to drive transparency and trust. But I made the point that it's not about rules of engagement. The silos have to exist, right? You can't have an organization where everyone reports to the CEO.
Right.
So there's going to be silos.
Right.
It's what do we do about them? How do we overcome the challenges of those silos? How do we get everyone working together? How do we align? So we think of it as both aligning functionally, but then it's also from a GTM point of view, how do we go from strategy to execution and connecting sort of horizontally, if you like, if the collaboration is more of the vertical.
Do you see, I see this tension sometimes between the growing complexity of the buying journey, the buying group, how we sell internally continues to grow exponentially in complexity, and our need to find the easy button. Mm-hmm. Our desire forever to say, well, maybe this tool is it. Maybe this technology is it. Maybe AI, if we just give everything to AI, it's just going to work. And, I can't see the future, but I don't think we're ever going to do that, right? I think the inconvenient truth for most companies in this room and at this conference is that this is really hard stuff to orchestrate and manage in a predictable, repeatable way. And so our only option is to lean into that complexity and tame it.
Yep. And to think about what is it that the human does and what is it that AI does, right? So going back to that augmented part of the arc, it's really thinking through what do I want to point where? How does the role of each of these things change?
Yeah.
When we bring in AI, it's great, but it can make bad processes worse quicker.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to rethink how you do things, not just throw the technology at it. It's amazing. We keep mentioning AI, but other than AI, at the conference, there hasn't been a lot of technology talk.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, process, collaboration, rethinking, change your approach. Like that's a lot of what we're hearing in the conversations I'm having. A lot of people sort of saying this is what's resonating, along with the fact that a lot of people just saying, I'm so glad you put a name to this thing I've been feeling, and I'm so glad to know I'm not the only one feeling it.
Yeah. We've got Dave Franklin here. He's the VP Research Director at Forrester Research, and talking about Singularity. We're going to talk a little bit about customer intelligence as well. I think, for those who have heard this podcast, even a couple episodes, you probably heard me say strategy first, process second, technology third, right? And you can call it whatever you want, but I think we too often go right to the tactics, right to the tools, without knowing what to tell it to do, which is informed by what we're trying to do in the first place. And somewhere in there is sort of culture and change management.
For sure.
And, no matter what tools and AI we have, there's still people managing and orchestrating all of this and making sure they're aligned behind this. In one of our earlier sessions, we had two fairly new CMOs in the role. On the panel, we talked about the mandate when you're a new executive. So you're brought in because we want to do something different. And you have a team that probably is resistant to change, right? Either because they like the status quo or they're just kind of afraid for their jobs. And so that creates a tension. And that to me is a microcosm of the tension that we're all facing in go-to-market right now. What is constantly changing at a greater speed in the world, in buying environments, and the need for us to figure out, I still have to deliver a number.
Yeah.
I still have to generate a business outcome amidst that growing level of chaos and variables.
Yeah. There's a couple of things I've heard while I've been here. One of the quotes was sort of, let AI take care of the certainties and let humans take care where it's uncertain.
Yeah.
Same thing. Let each group focus where they're specialized, but start from that. I think so much of this, what you were just saying is, if we start from a single strategy of what we're trying to achieve, be clear on what we're trying to do, name it, define it, and make it but also make it flexible enough that we can update it, because everything's constantly changing. So it is sort of new. It is entirely new approaches. A lot of people are going to have to shed some skin and then just embrace new ways of doing things and being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, that's right. Can I ask you a wardrobe question?
Yeah.
Every male analyst we've had here the last couple of days is wearing a pocket square. Is that intentional?
It is, yeah.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
That's amazing.
And I'll tell you what it is, and I didn't know this person, but there was a salesperson back in the Serious Decisions days who always was apparently one of the really gregarious, great guy. Everyone loved.
I can see him in my head.
Jim somebody, I can't remember his last name.
I can't remember his name, yeah.
And he passed away,
Oh.
and he was known for wearing a pocket square. So apparently a call went out the following year in Jim's honor.
Yeah.
Everybody wear, and I think there was a recommendation for ladies what they could do as well.
Yeah.
And so every year, I think most years it's Ross Graber that sends out the note. It's one of the Serious Decisions old timers who sends the note out with the meaning behind it all. And as soon as I read it the first time, I mean, I welled up reading it and went on Amazon, bought pocket squares because I'd never worn one before.
I didn't know that. That is such a great story.
It's a really
Ross
beautiful
sat
thing.
here yesterday,
Okay.
and
he had a pocket square on.
He had, of course he did, because you all do. And it was just, I love that story. And just a little pop of color.
Yeah.
Kind of a little something. Since most of us aren't wearing ties anymore, it's just a little, it's a little something. A lot of what we're talking about is not really possible when we talk about sort of just this more sophisticated orchestration of the go-to-market work we're doing. It's not possible without a foundation of data. You've been talking about data-driven marketing for longer than almost anyone. I don't even think big data was a concept when you started talking about
Quite
customer
correct.
intelligence.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And yet, it continues to be a problem for every company. What advice are you giving companies to, like, is there a way to finally sort of tame the data beast, or is it something we're going to always be struggling with?
I'm no longer in the data, and we have a data and AI team.
Yeah.
So they'd be the ones that are qualified to answer that question.
Yeah.
But my instinct would be that I don't think we'll ever fully tame it, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. It doesn't mean you should get better. We have an entire data and insights track here.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you look at the definition on our track, the word foundations is in there. Like we're still talking about.
Sure.
And yes, AI has come along. We've got to change it, and it depends on who you're talking to and how realistic they are. Some people, MCP is going to solve everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's going to help, but just like everything else, it's also going to add complexity. Just because you can access all the data, is it the right data? What are we doing with hygiene? So it's not just about where's all my company's data. It's where's the right data? How do we make sure it's up to date? If I point my AI, an LLM, an agent at wrong data, that's pretty terrifying.
Well, now no matter what you do, it doesn't matter anymore, right? It's just based on the wrong data, based on old data. I mentioned that you're based in Florida, right?
There you go.
If I assumed that was the truth, I could have gone all down the rabbit hole. You're like, what the hell is he talking about, right?
Yep.
And look, especially in B2B, like in the consumer space, things change a lot. In B2B, I feel like they change more, right? Like the deterioration of data and sort of not just like where someone works and how to get a hold of them, but like what's interesting to them now. We had a guy here earlier who has research that says that 60% of buyers change their priorities in the middle of the sales process. So even what started is shifts along the way. And if you don't have data or insights to help you inform you, you're speaking up the wrong tree on an opportunity that probably isn't that old. It's crazy.
But then, as you probably heard from Ross and others yesterday, sort of with Gen AI, with so many people answering questions, getting so far along in that journey before the provider even knows they're in market, it's really, we've lost all those signals we used to have. So some of that data is gone. The traditional source of that data no longer exists. And that's another one of those. Those rules and models are breaking down. We need new ones to emerge.
2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? I mean, the complexity continues to outpace a lot of our ability or just what we're trying to do here. But I think that's what makes events like this so valuable, right? I think that, as you see more events on the circuit, this year we've got people with travel constraints, and yet people still come to events like this and prioritize getting here. And we were talking before we got started, I think like the content this year has been great. The attendees and the engagement has been one of the things that I think's made this week special. Rooms that used to be on a particular topic, rows facing front, are now rounds.
Correct.
Where there may be a prompt or sort of an insight that starts it, but it's groups of people talking to each other. That is unique to in-person gatherings.
Absolutely, 100%.
And when you've got when you're able to bring together, you've got people in here that are CMOs, you've got CROs, you've got CS people, you've got sales enablement people, to come to common ground and maybe not come up with like the perfect answer, but at least move the ball forward.
Absolutely,
and have some inspiration on what you can take back. That is unique to having events like this.
And we made a conscious decision last year. I don't know what the order of magnitude was, but we multiplied significantly the number of workshops that we do. And the analysts really leaned into it. We had people with evidence boards with red string to teach you process. We had people with faces on money, and it was called Forrester Bucks to think about your campaign budgeting. This year, the team upped their game again. We had what we call the immersive experience. I don't know if you got down to it.
I did not.
But it's basically it's a cross between a mini workshop and an escape room. where you
Really?
where you literally go through the buying journey, and you start
Oh my
out
gosh.
as on the provider team.
Yeah.
And everyone at the very beginning, you walk in, doesn't matter what you do for a living,
Yeah.
and where you work, you're handed a card, and this is the role you're playing for the next sort of half an hour.
That's wild.
And you're on the buying team at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
You're being bombarded. So you might be, someone's handed a bag of money and a card that tells them they're the budget holder. Someone else is. So there's all these props, and you see these really like senior execs running around with inflatable cell phones and all the rest of it, really getting engaged in it. Halfway through, they switch and they become the provider.
Okay.
And they have to plan their campaigns and their go-to-market approach. And there's this sort of light bulb moment on the second step where they realize they're moving Post-its and magnets and everything around. And somebody eventually, always, one person clicks and goes, wait, we're just doing to our prospects everything we just complained about when we were on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And it's this, like I say, big light bulb. So it was just another way to bring the whole thing to life. Because we can tell you, don't do this, right? Literally walk through this experience, and it changes how you think about it.
The difference between insights and experience can't be wider, and I think when you create those kind of experiences, it's just unbelievable. I am disappointed I did not get invited to the experience at Chase Field last night. I've seen some pictures of
it was pretty special.
But a reception there and some live batting practice. That looked pretty awesome.
It was incredible. I mean, I know nothing about baseball. I shouldn't say nothing.
Okay.
Like, let's say if someone who knows 100% about baseball, I might be in the 2, maybe 3%.
Okay. All right.
We walked into Chase Field and we came in Gate E, and we walked, and it's that typical concourse.
Yeah.
And then you take 2 more steps forward, and you're in Forester Land, in the middle of this domed stadium.
It's
and
huge in there.
All around, the ribbons that go around where somebody scores or whatever it is. All the advertising normally, it was all Forester, and then you get down, and it was beautiful lights on the sandy bit.
Infield, yes.
Somebody told me.
The sandy.
Somebody
I'm going to
told
call
me,
it the sandy bit from now on.
Somebody told me. So the infield. When Amy Bills hears this, she'll be mortified. On the sandy bit in the infield, that's where the tables and these beautiful lights, and again you just see these really senior like CMOs, chief revenue officers of multi-billion-dollar companies going, this is awesome. Like they were bowled over. And then there's a World Series trophy and these other things just that you could go up and get your photo with.
That's unbelievable.
Cool.
If you ever have a chance to, like, especially in a baseball or football field, to do that. I mean, even if you've been at a game or been to a soccer game, it's one thing to be in the stands. When you stand in the middle and you really see just the coliseum that you are in, it's really intimidating. I walked over from the Sheraton with Amy Bills this morning. I really hope that I get to see her later today and can tell her that I heard you were at the Sandy Bits yesterday.
She wasn't there. She heard me saying the Sandy Bits.
Well, she'll still know. I mean, she'll still know exactly who I talked to today. Awesome. Jay Franklin, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fun.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.